Malaga Radio.
Freshly squeezed.
The juice on all the daily events along the coast.
With just a little bit of zest.
You're listening to Malaga Radio, and this is your weekly diary.
This is where we take everything happening across the Costa del Sol this week and turn it into something you can actually use.
Not just a list, but real ideas, where to go, what's on, and how it fits your day.
And if you're new to us, we're here for one reason, to help you get more out of your time here, whether you've just arrived or you're planning the days ahead.
So wherever you are, Malaga, Marbella, Nerja, inland villages, we've got something for you this week.
The structure is simple. We'll take you through the key events, break them into clear choices, and help you decide what fits your pace.
And this week, there's a bit of a shift.
This is one of those weeks where everything starts to open up again. Not just events, but how you experience the region.
Yes, it's not just one plan. It's lots of options.
And that's exactly what will help you navigate, starting with something a little different this week.
Malaga Radio.
Okay, can I just say this straight away? If you're here this week, right now, you've landed at a really interesting moment.
This is one of those weeks where the place itself changes pace. Not dramatically, not in an obvious way, but enough that you feel it as soon as you step outside.
And you don't always realize why. You just think, oh, it feels busier or livelier, or there's more going on.
The key thing is, it's not just more events, it's how those events are happening.
Yes, that's it. It's like everything moves outwards this week, into the streets, into the squares, into places you weren't planning to go.
This is the point in the season where Malaga shifts from something you visit into something you move through.
Because if you think about it, most people arrive here with a simple plan. Beach, maybe a nice dinner, maybe one or two things booked in.
And that works. But this week quietly offers a completely different way to experience the region.
Like, you start in one place, maybe you're just walking through a town, and suddenly there's music in a square, or food stalls, or something happening you didn't expect.
That's not accidental. There is a clear pattern this week. The region is designed to pull you out of fixed plans and into discovery.
Pull you out. I love that. Because it does. You can't just sit still this week.
Exactly. You'll notice it, especially in places like Estepona, where entire streets become part of the experience, not just something you walk through.
And then you go inland. And it's completely different again, like Monda, where everything slows down, and suddenly you're in a square with locals cooking together, sharing food.
That contrast is the real story. Coast to inland, high energy to slow tradition, all available within the same day.
And then you've got Nerja, where it's like the whole world turns up in one place. Different countries, different food, music, all in one square.
That's the integration layer. It shows you that this isn't just a tourist destination, it's a functioning international community.
And then you swing back into the city, and it's something else again.
The city leans into experimentation this week. Museums become live spaces, performances happen around you rather than on a stage, and even sport turns into a spectator experience.
Oh, the fitness event. The energy there is crazy. Like music, lights, people cheering. It feels like a festival, not just sport.
That's part of the shift as well. Activities are no longer just activities. They are designed as experiences you can step into, even if you're just watching.
So this is what I'm trying to say. This week, you don't need to plan everything.
This is the important part. Over-planning actually works against you here.
Yes. Just pick a direction and let the day build itself.
Because the region is set up for that. You can move from a food route to a live performance to a village event without forcing it.
And honestly, that's when the best moments happen. The ones you didn't book, the ones you didn't expect.
Those are the moments that define the trip.
So maybe this week, just leave a bit of space.
Follow the atmosphere instead of the schedule.
Because right now, Malaga isn't just somewhere you visit.
It's something you experience in motion.
And that's why this week feels a little bit magic.
Malaga Radio.
This is where the week really starts to show its character. Because beyond the bigger events, this is where Andalusia still runs on its own rhythm.
Yes, and this is the part I love. Because it's not staged, it's not built for tourists, it's just happening, and you get to step into it.
The first one to look at is Sopa Mondeña, a traditional village food gathering up in Monda, just inland from Marbella, running across the weekend.
And this is exactly what you imagine. Big pots, people cooking outside, everyone gathering in the square. It's not a restaurant, it's the whole village involved.
What matters here is scale and setting. Monda is small, set in the hills, so everything concentrates into one space. You arrive and you're immediately part of it.
And it's simple food, but that's the point. It's shared, it's local, and you're standing there with people who've probably been coming to this for years.
From a planning point of view, this is best approached as a daytime trip. Go earlier, take your time, and let it build naturally rather than arriving late when it's already crowded. Now, if you move east, you get something completely different. The Moclinejo Livestock Fair, a rural heritage event focused on animals, farming, and traditional life in the Axarquia region.
And this feels like stepping into a different world. You've got animals, demonstrations, local produce. It's much more raw, much more real.
This is less about a single focal point and more about observation. You walk through, you see how things are done, and it gives you a very clear sense of the region beyond the coast.
And I think that's what people don't expect. They come for the beach, and then suddenly they're here, and it's completely different.
Exactly. This is a strong option if you want contrast, something that sits outside the usual tourist path, but still accessible within a short drive. Then further inland again, you've got Tahona Fest, a traditional baking and food culture festival, set in the hilltop village of Comares.
And Comares on its own is worth it. The views, the streets, the setting. And then you add this, ovens, bread, people baking.
This one sits somewhere between tradition and food. You're seeing the process, how things are made, not just consuming it.
And you can smell it before you even get there. That's the best part.
Logistically, this is a slightly more committed trip, but that's part of the appeal. You go there deliberately, and the setting does a lot of the work for you. Beyond those three, there's a wider spread across the region worth noting.
Yes, loads actually.
Nerja Residence Day, an international community celebration, food, music, and a full square atmosphere right in the center of town.
That one's fun. Lots of different countries, lots of different food.
Down in Estepona, Vive sus calles, open streets, live performances, and food spread throughout the town.
That's the one where you just walk and things keep happening.
And in Casares, smaller gastronomy and local produce events focused on regional flavors and tasting experiences. So that's the traditional side of the week, grounded, local, and spread across the region.
But it doesn't stay like that.
Because running alongside this, there's a completely different layer, more curated, more artistic, and often indoors.
Yes, and that's where we're heading next, into culture and exhibitions across Malaga this week.
Malaga Radio.
This is where the week changes gear slightly, because alongside everything happening outdoors, there's a strong cultural layer running through Malaga right now.
Yes, and it feels different, a bit more focused, a bit more immersive.
The first one to look at is the Festival de Arte Vivas, a live arts program happening across Malaga City with performances, installations, and experimental pieces running through the week.
And this one's interesting because it's not just in one place. You come across it.
That's the structure. It's distributed. You're not necessarily booking a full evening. You might encounter something as part of your day.
Which makes it feel a bit unexpected, like you turn a corner and something's happening.
Exactly. This works well if you're already in the city and want something that adds a layer to what you're doing rather than replacing it. Running alongside that, you've got the Malaga Theatre Festival, Spring Act, a program of theater, dance, and stage productions across key venues in the city throughout the week.
And this is more of a plan your evening one.
Correct. This is structured. You choose a show, a time, and a venue. It's a clear decision rather than something you discover.
And it's a nice contrast to earlier, because after something like Monda or Comares, this feels a bit more polished.
That contrast is useful. Daytime can be flexible and outdoor focused. Then this gives you a reliable indoor evening option. Then there's a layer that sits between tradition and performance. Flamenco, with artists like Rocio Molina and Antonio Rey appearing across venues this week.
And this is where it really comes alive.
What matters here is setting. Some performances are in theaters, others in more intimate venues, so the experience can vary significantly.
And it's one of those where, even if you've seen it before, it's never quite the same.
This is a strong evening option, particularly if you want something distinctly local, but presented in a more refined performance setting. There are a few more worth keeping in mind across the week.
Yes, loads happening in this space.
Exhibitions across Malaga's museums, rotating collections, contemporary art, and temporary shows running throughout the week.
Good fallback if the weather turns as well.
Smaller gallery events and installations, particularly in central Malaga, often tied into the wider festival activity.
You just need to keep your eyes open for those.
And independent cultural spaces hosting talks, performances, and small-scale shows, often in the evenings. So that's the cultural side of the week, structured, curated, and often indoors.
But then we move into something everyone's thinking about.
Because once you've been out during the day or into the evening,
You're going to be hungry.
and this week, food isn't just an add-on, it's part of the experience itself.
Yes, and some of the things we mentioned earlier start to come back here in a completely different way.
Malaga Radio.
This is where the week starts to come together because a lot of what we've mentioned already actually leads here.
Yes, this is the part where you stop just looking at things and start tasting them.
If you were listening earlier when we mentioned Monda, this is where it becomes more than just an event.
Yes, because it's not just people gathering, it's what they're making.
You're looking at sopa mondeña, a traditional hearty village dish, served directly in the square during the event.
Sopa mondeña. And it's simple, but that's the point. It's cooked slowly, shared, and you're eating it right there where it's made.
This is not a sit-down meal. It's informal, standing, moving, and part of the wider atmosphere, which makes it very different from a typical restaurant experience. Then if you move across to Casares, you've got local gastronomy events focused on regional produce, particularly cheese and traditional ingredients.
And this is where it becomes more about tasting, trying things, moving between stalls.
Exactly. This is structured differently. Instead of one central dish, you've got variety, multiple producers, smaller portions, and a more exploratory approach.
And Casares, even just walking around there with food in your hand, that's already enough.
This works well if you want something more flexible. You can arrive, try a few things, and build your own experience without committing to a full meal. And coming back to Comares, what we mentioned earlier with Tahona Fest, this is where the focus shifts fully onto the food side.
Yes, the baking, the ovens.
You're seeing traditional bread making in real time, ovens in use, dough being prepared, and finished products coming out throughout the day.
And again, you smell it before you see it.
This is more about process than speed. You're not rushing. You're watching how things are made, then tasting them as they come through.
And it's warm, literally warm, fresh bread.
Beyond those, there's a wider spread across the region that fits into the week.
Yes, lots of options depending where you are.
Estepona vive sus calles, food stalls, street setups, and a mix of local and international options spread throughout the town.
That one you just walk and pick.
Nerja Residence Day, strong international food presence alongside music and community events.
Lots of different flavors there.
And restaurants and beachside venues starting to move into spring mode, extended hours, more availability, and livelier evening settings across the coast. So food this week isn't separate. It's part of the event structure itself.
And it doesn't really stop there.
Because once the day moves on,
It turns into the evening.
and that's where the energy shifts again into music, nightlife, and late events across the coast.
Yes, and that's where we're heading next.
Malaga Radio.
Before we move fully into nightlife, there's a shift happening along the coast this week that's worth paying attention to.
Yes, this is the one you just fall into.
Beach clubs are starting to reopen for the season, and they sit right between day and night.
You go for lunch, then the music builds, and suddenly you're still there as the sun goes down.
That's the structure. Food, music, atmosphere, all in one place without needing to plan separate stops. Moving into more defined events, one of the stronger picks is Red Friday, a live music and social night at La Termica, typically running Friday evening into late.
And this one has a really nice mix. It's not just music, it's people, space, food, everything happening together.
Exactly. It's structured but relaxed. You're not locked into a single performance. You move around, dip in and out, and build your own evening.
And it's a good one if you don't want something too intense. Just a proper night out.
Then you've got something with more identity. Habana Vieja Fest, a Latin music festival bringing live bands, DJs, and a strong Cuban influence across the weekend.
This one's all rhythm, dancing, movement. It pulls you in straight away.
And it's not just music. There's food running alongside it as well, so it becomes more of a full evening setup rather than just a performance.
Yes, you're not rushing in and out. You stay, you eat, and the music just keeps building.
The key difference here is focus. You're going for a specific style, Latin music, food, and a more immersive atmosphere.
Even if you don't plan to dance, you probably will.
And if you're further west, Marbella offers a different pace. Events at Casino Marbella combining gaming, live entertainment, and a more contained nightlife setting.
And this is more dressed up, a bit more polished.
Exactly. It's structured, indoors, and less dependent on weather, which makes it a reliable evening option.
You go in and everything's there. You don't need to move around.
There's a wider spread across the coast as well, depending where you are staying.
Yes, loads of smaller things happening.
Tribute acts and live music nights across Fuengirola and Malaga, usually starting later in the evening and easy to drop into.
Good if you want something familiar.
DJ sets and club nights across Marbella and beach venues, building into the weekend with stronger late-night energy.
That's where it gets busy.
And smaller bar-led music nights, live bands, acoustic sets, and casual evening atmospheres across the region. So that's the evening side of the week, flexible, varied, and spread right across the coast.
But it doesn't stop there.
Because the daytime energy this week is just as strong, particularly if you want something more active.
Yes, and that's where we're heading next.
Malaga Radio.
Into sports, movement, and outdoor events happening across the region this week. This is where the week shifts back into daylight and into movement, because alongside everything else, there's a strong outdoor and activity layer running right through these days.
Yes, and it's a nice contrast, because after the food, the evenings, this is where you get back out again.
The standout here is Hyrox Malaga, a large-scale indoor fitness competition taking place at FYCMA across the weekend.
And this one's intense, even just watching it.
That's the key point. You don't need to be competing. It works equally well as a spectator event. You've got structured races, high energy, and a constant flow of activity.
It feels more like a show than just sport.
Exactly. It's organized indoors and runs throughout the day, so you can drop in and out depending on your plans. At the other end of the scale, you've got something much more relaxed. Fiesta de la Bicicleta, a community cycling event taking place across local routes and town centers.
This one's fun. It's not competitive. It's just people out together.
That's the structure. It's participation-led, low pressure, and open to all levels. More about being part of it than performing.
And you see everyone, families, groups. It's a really nice atmosphere.
This works best as a daytime option if you want something active but not demanding. And beyond organized events, this week is also about access. Walking routes, coastal paths, and inland trails all open and usable across the region.
Yes, and this is where you just pick a place and go.
Exactly. Conditions may vary slightly depending on location, but overall, it's a good window for exploring, particularly if you build around the day rather than fixing a strict schedule.
And it's nice after everything else, just a bit of space.
A few more to keep in mind depending on where you are staying.
Yes, lots of smaller things happening.
Beach activities and water sports starting to return along the coast. Paddleboarding, light rentals, and early season setups.
You start to see it again.
Golf courses and outdoor sports venues back into full spring rhythm, particularly across Marbella and the western Costa del Sol.
That's a big one here.
And informal outdoor meetups and activity groups, running walks, light fitness, and group sessions across the region. So that's the active side of the week. Structured events, open spaces, and plenty of ways to move.
And it kind of brings everything together.
Because across the week, you've got a clear mix. Tradition, culture, food, music, and movement.
Yes, and you can pick your pace.
Malaga Radio.
So that's your week across the Costa del Sol. A mix of tradition, culture, food, music, and plenty of ways to get out and explore.
And the nice thing this week, you don't have to do everything. Just pick what fits your mood.
And if you want more day by day, that's where Freshly Squeezed comes in. Our daily morning show, breaking down what's happening each day.
Yes, these events and more every morning.
You can also find all of our podcasts, over 200 episodes, on all major platforms, including Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
So wherever you're listening from, you can take us with you.
For live radio, head to Malaga Radio, use the app, or just ask Amazon Alexa to play Malaga Radio.
And everything we've mentioned,
You'll find it all at malagaradio.net,
so you can explore it properly in your own time.
and we'll be back with you throughout the week.
See you out there.
Malaga Radio. Malaga Radio.